Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here, and welcome to the day after discussion where I'm going to talk about the Oilers games this past weekend where they lost 6-3 to the Toronto Maple Leafs and 5-3 to the Ottawa Senators. For those of you who might be new to the channel, or if you've been here before and you haven't quite liked or subscribed to these videos, the day after, it's basically just a series where I make a video the day after a game. In this case, I'm doing the day after the weekend games because they played back-to-back. Couldn't do a day after the Toronto game just because of the quick turnaround with the Senators. So I'll talk about both. And in the day after videos, I talk about a bunch of different topics. It's very formal. I just sit down. I'm in front of the camera. I present questions to all of you watching. And yeah, it's pretty chill. So let's just kind of get right into it. First things first, let's talk about that loss against the Maple Leafs. Now, I have a more, I have a recap video of it, so I'm not going to talk too much about the game itself, but I'm going to talk about some of the things that happened in the game that I wanted to get off my chest because that was a terrible loss. Edmonton, they made it a game. They got close. They scored 3 goals in the third. Toronto gets an empty netter to finish the game 6-3. Austin Matthews was the one who got the empty netter, which surprisingly, I did not know this. That was his first empty net goal of the season, which is pretty impressive. So good for Austin Matthews. He continues to build that lead in the Maurice Richard Trophy race. Although Zach Hyman, Hyman's in that rearview mirror. Zach Hyman hit his 50th goal of the season against the Ottawa Senators. He hit goal number 49 against Toronto. And speaking of that game against Toronto, I will get into the game against Ottawa and I will talk about Zach Hyman and his 50th goal because he deserves to have a positive segment of the video devoted to that. But going into the game against Toronto, the Oilers, they defeated Buffalo 8-3. They scored 5 unanswered goals in the third period in that game. So heading into Toronto, everyone, there was stories everywhere from TSN, Sportsnet, sports writers. Everyone was talking about, could Zach Hyman hit 50 goals in his hometown against his former team? And I'm not sure if Chris Knoblauch was also kind of caught within that. I don't know if the players were like, hey, let's try, obviously the players, McDavid and them, they were going to try and help him get there. But right from the drop of the puck, you had Draisaitl loaded up with McDavid to start the game with Hyman on right wing, and it almost felt like they were only looking for Hyman early on. They got a very early power play, and it looked like they were just passing up opportunities to shoot because they were looking for the perfect play to try and get the puck to Hyman. Now, Hyman eventually did score a power play goal in the game. He scored it in the third period to make the score 5-1. However, I feel like the team, the coaching staff, a combination of both, instead of just focusing on the game at hand and getting 2 points, I think there was a lot of outside noise affecting not only the players, but the coaches, families. There's a lot of players on the Oilers who have ties to Ontario with McDavid, Corey Perry, Hyman, there's a lot of players that play for Edmonton that have family from Ontario, especially the greater Toronto area. A lot of them got to see their family either before the game or that night, and lots of distractions, and it just felt like to me right from the beginning of the game, the focus was let's get Hyman 50 goals instead of let's beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if that is the case, and I don't like to speculate because that's just not who I am, but that's just what it felt like to me watching as a fan. The Oilers, of course, they just could not recover throughout the game. They were down 5-0 after the second period. I put out a very emotional and energetic post-game recap video after the second period. The third period had not even ended yet when I made that video. And in that video, I said if Edmonton scores 6 goals in the third period, one, it would have made me look really stupid. And 2, I also said that I would have got a Leafs tattoo on my forehead. I think we're all glad that that did not actually have to happen. I would have committed. I promise you I would have done it. But so they lose 6-3 to Toronto. It was not good. Stuart Skinner did not have a good game at all. And then heading into Ottawa, the Oilers started off very well. They were all over the Senators early. They scored early. Adam Henrique got a goal, went off his skate. Nice play by Ekholm to get that puck through, find him, and Henrique ended up getting a goal early against the Senators. And then the Oilers, Senators tied up. They get a power play, and Desharnais just lays down in front of Calvin Pickard, and he's just laying and sprawling, and the pass goes over him, over to Jacob Chychrun, who one-times it past Calvin Pickard to tie the game at 1. And then the Oilers, they end up getting 2 more goals. They're up 3-1. Zach Hyman gets his 50th goal of the season, and we absolutely love to see that for Zach Hyman. Could not happen to a better person, a better player. And Zach Hyman, I've mentioned this in previous videos. He is breaking everything that I know about the analytics and age curves in hockey. Normally, age curves are like this. Your age goes up and then production goes down. With Zach Hyman, it is linear right now. His age is going up, but his production is going up since he joined Edmonton. Every year he has set career highs in goals with the Oilers, and he's on pace to set career high in points once again for the third straight season. And he's 31 years old. He will be turning 32 this year. Like that's wild to me. You love to see it. And before anyone says, oh, it's because he plays with McDavid, who cares? Who cares? He played with Austin Matthews. Guess what? Good players produce with good players. That's, I don't know. That'd be like if I was like, oh, well, Austin Matthews, he doesn't hit 60 goals without Mitch Marner. Like, no, it's dumb. Good players produce with good players. Zach Hyman is a terrific player. And yes, his assist total is way down this year compared to last year. But the team, 50 goals. He could hit 60. I don't know if he'll actually reach 60. The Oilers have 12 games left. He would have to score 10 goals in the next 12 games. If he managed to hit 60, though, that would be absolutely unbelievable. Another fun fact with Zach Hyman, he is the first Oiler not named McDavid or Draisaitl to play a full season with Edmonton to score 50 goals in an Oilers uniform. First one since 86-87, I believe. So good for Zach Hyman. Could not be happier for him. He has the best value contract in the NHL. This is by far Ken Holland's best signing as general manager, and you love to see it. I'm glad that it has worked out not only for the team, but for Zach Hyman, the player. He took a bet on himself. He wanted to come to Edmonton. He chose Edmonton. There's a lot of players that don't choose to come to play in Edmonton, especially as free agents. So I'm very happy to see that, and I think we can all agree Zach Hyman more than deserves it. Shedding a tear yesterday just with the team's reaction on the ice, his reaction when he's on the bench and he's just taking it all in. There's a lot of emotions, and it's really unfortunate that the team could not get the win against Ottawa to help make that celebration feel a little bit better. Ottawa scored 2 more goals to tie the game, and then in the third period with just over 3 minutes left, Edmonton takes a penalty, and then Chychrun scores his second of the game. It goes short side on the glove side on Calvin Pickard once again to make it 4-3, and then the Senators get an empty netter. Now, Calvin Pickard, he did not have a good game yesterday. However, the high danger opportunities weren't as they weren't as well, I'm trying to think of the word here. So the Oilers outshot Ottawa 36-16. The discrepancy in high danger chances was much lower, though. The Oilers had 14 high danger shots and Ottawa had 8. So the Oilers, despite completely outshooting the Senators and controlling so much zone time, they weren't really generating a lot of high danger looks. Now, Ottawa was opportunistic. They were scoring on their opportunities, and Edmonton could not bury the puck. Several players had good chances to put a puck in the net. Nugent Hopkins hit the post twice. He hit the post once against Toronto. That was late in the Toronto game. That could have made it 5-4, so who knows where the game could have gone if he had been able to score. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is completely snake-bitten right now. You feel for the guy. He's doing the right things, and he's in the right spot right now. But it would be nice to see Nugent Hopkins start to pot a couple here and there. And just in general, some depth scoring would be very nice. Now, Evander Kane, he was a scratch against the Ottawa Senators, a late scratch. Now, Chris Knoblauch called it a maintenance day and said that it would be good for the team moving forward for Evander Kane to sit. Now, that to me is alluding to possibly, bumps and bruises, just needed a night off just to kind of recover the body, the mind, that sort of thing. There's a lot of talk about why he was scratched, and there was a lot of media attention put in the Toronto game. You had Leon Draisaitl and Evander Kane on the bench when Edmonton, I think it was down, they were down 3-0 at this point in the second. They were bickering with each other. You could tell there was a lot of emotion, the way they were talking to each other. Draisaitl was kind of laying into Evander Kane, and a lot of people are like, oh, there's fighting on the bench, blah, blah, blah. And then Evander Kane gets scratched against Ottawa. So then you had the fans, you have the conspiracy theorists out now going, oh, well, Draisaitl and Kane, they had a fight. Evander Kane gets scratched. It's because he fought with Draisaitl. No, listen, in my opinion, and now I haven't played high-level hockey. I did not play professional level hockey, but I did play hockey growing up. I'm around the rink a lot, and I'm with hockey people all the time. I've been watching hockey for 25 years. I think it's normal to have those moments on the bench between players, just, holding each other accountable. Leon Draisaitl is a leader on this team. Evander Kane is a leader on this team. These are guys that you want to be talking to each other and holding each other accountable, especially if mistakes are made or if you're trying to get them more engaged in a play, or, it's good to hold these guys accountable because the coaching staff can't always do it. There's only so much a coach can say sometimes to motivate another player. And I think personally, Draisaitl and Evander Kane, I think whatever was going on there, don't blow that out of proportion. I really truly do believe that Evander Kane was given a maintenance day just for just general, it could be a healthy scratch, could just to give him a mental reset. So we'll just let that slide. I don't think there's anything too serious there between Kane or Draisaitl. But Kane, he is a guy who has not scored in 15 games. So that's another reason why I think he might have been given a night off. Not, because of poor performance or anything, but maybe just, sometimes it's good for a player to just sit, take a seat in the press box, have some popcorn, just watch the game from the press box and just take a night off just to relax. Next thing I want to talk about here is Cody Ceci, Vincent Desharnais, and Troy Stecher. Now, Desharnais, he missed a couple games with a supposed broken finger. I don't know if the team has actually confirmed this. There's a couple media people that have said it's a broken finger, but nobody from the Oilers organization has said anything. They just call it like a hand injury. Now, Desharnais missed a couple games. He didn't play against Montreal, and he didn't play against Buffalo. And Troy Stecher was in both of those games, and the Oilers won both of those games. Now, Stecher, he looks a little unorthodox with the way he moves and skates and where he positions himself on the ice. But the game against Buffalo, I thought him and Nurse played well. Their advanced analytics showed that, if you're only looking at that, it said that they didn't play good together, but I'm using my eye test with that one. I'm overruling the numbers, even though I love the numbers. I thought Troy Stecher looked good with Darnell Nurse, and I was surprised that Desharnais was going in the lineup against Toronto. The Leafs are a pretty fast team, and they'll get on the forecheck hard. And for Desharnais, if you're not 100% trying to defend against like Austin Matthews and William Nylander and Max Domi, and these, there are skilled, fast players on the Leafs that can get on you. I was surprised to see Desharnais in, and I was more surprised that they took Troy Stecher out, because when you look at the goals for and against at even strength, Cody Ceci, if you look at his expected goals for percentage, Cody Ceci he's ranked 6th on the team in these categories out of the defensemen. So I'm surprised Cody Ceci was not the one getting scratched. I'm surprised Troy Stecher was getting scratched, because the couple games that he's played, I thought he looked good. I thought he looked good against Buffalo. He had an assist on Darnell Nurse's goal. And I would like to see Troy Stecher in the lineup more, and I would like to see Cody Ceci scratched. However, Desharnais has been struggling, especially on the penalty kill. And just in general, the Oilers' defense, it looks shaky right now. It's not quite as bad as October, November defensive coverage, but there are cracks showing in just the mental lapses of the game right now. So the Oilers, in their last 4 games, they have 2 wins and 2 losses, which isn't terrible. However, they've given up 16 goals in the last 4 games. So that's 4 goals per game that they're giving up. They gave up 6 to Toronto, 5 to Ottawa, they gave up 3 to Buffalo, and they gave up 2 to Montreal. And the goaltending's shaky. Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard both had horrible games against the Leafs and Senators. Pickard, he came in relief against Toronto in the 3rd period, and he played fine. I think he had 6 saves on 6 shots. I think he had 1 good stop too. But against Ottawa, it's like nothing, anytime Ottawa even had what could be considered a high danger opportunity, it ended up in the back of the net, which was very unfortunate. But Pickard also made some big saves too. I don't want to put that loss on the goaltending. There's other lineup decisions that have been contributing to this. Chris Knoblauch, he's got that line blender out way too much right now. And loading up Draisaitl and McDavid, I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a head coach, and Chris Knoblauch is obviously a very good coach. So it's hard for me to sit here and be like, this is what the coach should do, because I'm not a coach. So when it comes to my credentials and, my qualifications, this is just from an outside perspective. But I do think Chris Knoblauch, he needs to keep Draisaitl and McDavid separated. I forget who it was on the Leafs. I think it was Jake McCabe, one of their defensemen. Post-game, he was asked about defending Draisaitl and McDavid, and he basically alluded to the fact if you can shut down that line, then you're comfortable shutting down the rest of the team. And that's exactly what happened. The Oilers didn't start scoring until they were getting power plays in the 3rd period, and I think there was a bit of game management going on there. Hockey Night in Canada, national broadcast, the Oilers are losing 5-0. I don't think the league wanted to see that. So, let's give Edmonton a couple power plays here. Not saying Edmonton didn't deserve the power plays, because some of the calls that went against Edmonton against Ottawa were not good, really putrid. But again, the refs are not out to get the Oilers. They're not out to get any other team. Officiating in general is just terrible. But Chris Knoblauch's line juggling, if you want to have any success in the playoffs, he's got to start line matching better, and he's got to split Draisaitl and McDavid up permanently, in my opinion. On the second line, Draisaitl, McLeod, and Foegele, that is a terrific second line. If you want to have Henrique with Draisaitl instead, do that, and then you could have Foegele or McLeod down on the third line. That's fine too. But, when it comes to recent decisions, especially against Toronto, that I did not like the lineup decisions that were made. And then in the third period, the fourth line usually doesn't see any kind of ice time, especially if it's a tied game or if Edmonton is down. You never see Carrick out there. You never see Brown out there. You don't see Janmark. So very similar to Woodcroft in his approach to how he is putting things together and running his guys during a game. So we'll see if there's adjustments getting made. But I would like it personally if he put Troy Stecher in the lineup. Whether you take Desharnais or Ceci out, doesn't matter to me. I would prefer Ceci out over Desharnais because Desharnais with Kulak on that third pair, they are mint against the lower competition. Third pair roll 13 to 14 minutes a night. They were playing really good. Desharnais is playing above his weight class. Not as what I mean by weight. Like he's playing above water, barely above water. He's below water when he's on the second pair. I'm trying to get my analogies here. I'm sorry, but I would prefer to see Cody Ceci come out for a game. He hasn't been moving the needle for a while, and Desharnais, if he is hurt and not 100%, why even keep playing him too? Maybe call up Broberg and sit both Ceci and Desharnais for a bit. I don't know. I don't know what you want to do. Just do something when it comes to that, because it's not working. The defense pairs right now, the only one that's working is Ekholm and Bouchard. So, do you split Ekholm and Bouchard? Would you go Nurse Bouchard and then maybe Ekholm Desharnais or Ekholm Stecher and then Kulak Ceci or Kulak Stecher? I want to know what you think about that. If you think Bouchard and Ekholm should be split just to try and help the other defensive pairs out, because the other four defensemen, not named Bouchard or Ekholm, they're struggling right now, and it is very apparent how much they're struggling, and they're struggling on the penalty kill. Oh my God, the penalty kill against Toronto and especially against Ottawa was not good. Carrick was brought in, Sam Carrick. He's brought in not only to penalty kill, but also win faceoffs. He lost 2 faceoffs that directly led to power play goals very quickly for the Ottawa Senators, and I get it. Winning faceoffs isn't exactly easy. And Carrick is still getting used to his new team. But if you're selling a player to the fan base that you brought in, you sent down Dylan Holloway and you sent down Sam Gagner to the minors to make room for Sam Carrick and Adam Henrique, and they are not helping you on your penalty kill right now, and they're not winning faceoffs. I don't know what to say. That doesn't look good. All I'm saying is that doesn't look good. Sam Carrick did not have a good game. The penalty kill had an even worse game against the Ottawa Senators. Now, speaking of Henrique, he's also not been great away from the puck. Against the Toronto Maple Leafs, it was the end of a power play. There was only one defenseman back, and there was a delayed offside at Toronto's blue line. Now, Henrique had 2 options that he could have chose. 1, touch the puck to force a whistle because there was no coverage behind him. Or 2, completely leave the puck and get back into a defensive positioning with a D partner and make the play a 2-on-2 or at worst a 3-on-2 for the Leafs coming out of their zone in transition. Adam Henrique decided to go with option number 3. So egregious. You know what he did? He ended up chasing the puck and a Leaf player to the very far end of the blue line. And then he tried to take body positioning and protect the puck without touching it. While the Leafs, they get the puck because Henrique didn't want to touch it for some reason. All Henrique had to do was touch the puck. He didn't. The Leafs go in on an odd-man rush, 2-on-1, one-timer as the puck comes across. Hard to blame Skinner for that one. At the same time, you would absolutely love a save, though. But Adam Henrique, it's mental lapses and decisions like that drive me crazy. Goal number 1 against the Leafs early in the game. You had Darnell Nurse. He didn't get the stop at the blue line, so it was a clean entry on the blue line. And then Nurse, instead of coming back hard to cover the slot area, because Desharnais, he had to go in the corner to get the puck. So Desharnais is doing his job. He goes into the corner because of the dump in. So Darnell Nurse's assignment now is cover the front middle of the net, make sure nobody can get to that area, or at the very least, take the shot away. Darnell Nurse literally just coasting in, watches, doesn't even get within 10 feet of McMahon, who ends up scoring, and it's a very bad look. And then, of course, we all know about the Evan Bouchard play against Matthews. That play, Evan Bouchard's been caught on the ice for almost 3 minutes, so he's tired. He's expecting to get hit from Austin Matthews, and he tries to like jump and do like a jump around play. I honestly don't know what he was doing. It's one of those plays from Evan Bouchard. He doesn't make egregious mistakes often, but when he does, it is just super magnified. Credit to Austin Matthews too. He completely just destroyed Bouchard in that corner in terms of being able to get positioning. The puck works its way in front. Bouchard can't get into the slot crease area in time to stop the goal. But every defenseman looked terrible against the Leafs, and defensive coverage against Ottawa, again, wasn't great. Even though the team effort was there, the defensive coverage, there's not enough commitment to defense right now, and it's very frustrating to watch. Next thing I want to talk about quick before I end this video, because we're already over 20 minutes here, is goaltending. Now, the Oilers, they are 9-3-2, I believe, in their last 12, 13, 14 games. It's 9-3-2 in their last 14. Now, they don't have amazing advanced metrics during that stretch. So they're winning games, but their advanced metrics, their possession metrics, expected goals for percentage since February 26th, it's been a little bit better, especially because their expected goals for against Ottawa was so much higher. But since February 26th, the Oilers ranked 10th in expected goals for percentage at 5-on-5. But if you bring that to even strength, they rank 16th in the NHL in expected goals for percentage. And this is from Natural Stat Trick. They were running a 95% save percentage at 5-on-5 for like 3 weeks. And that is clearly unsustainable. They had a PDO of 106 for like 3 weeks. What was it? 1, 2, 3, almost 4 weeks. They were running at a PDO of 106. So seeing all these goals against now, giving up 5 to Ottawa, 6 to Toronto. The cracks were showing, and the goaltending is not bailing them out now. They were running unsustainable goaltending, and it's unfair to expect Skinner and Pickard to be able to run the goaltending that they had been doing for the last several weeks. And there's going to be some of you go, well, it's a goalie's job to save the puck. It absolutely is. I don't disagree with that. However, the way the team has been playing in front of them in terms of not, generating the offense that you think they should, and then also protecting that slot area, the high danger area, and committing to structured defense. The Oilers have also not been doing that, and they've been giving up their fair share of chances as well. So it's tough for me to blame the goaltending. I'm gonna put the game against Ottawa on goaltending though, because there's a couple of those goals where it's like, Calvin Pickard, sorry man. Every goal beats you on the short side, whether you were in position or not. Got to make a save here and there. But just in general, as a team play, the advanced metrics, they need to start getting better. They need to start pushing more on offense, and they need to be more structured in their own end and stop giving up these like 10 bell, like high danger looks from about 2 feet away from the crease where a goalie, if he makes the save, that's amazing. But like, it's hard to expect the goalie to make the save that often. That's pretty much my thoughts on the last couple days though. Apologies for getting this video out a little later. I wanted to get it up this morning, but by the time you're seeing this, it's probably going to be afternoon, maybe early evening. I do appreciate all of your support. If you like these longer form videos and you want to see more, make sure you hit like. If you really like it, make sure you hit subscribe. Tomorrow's video will be the pregame report before Edmonton plays Winnipeg at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Now, Winnipeg's been struggling. They're at home. They're going to be pissed off, so I'm looking forward to that game from Edmonton's side because I want to know how they respond after 2 tough losses to Ottawa and Toronto on the weekend. And then, of course, Edmonton is back at home on Thursday against the LA Kings, and I will have a video for that as well. So pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I look forward to all of your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Let's start a discussion. I read everybody's comments. I try and reply to as much as possible too. So thank you all so much for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. I'll see you in the next one. Tell someone that you love them. Stay safe. Take care. See you next time.